Okay, hello everyone. It's been a while since I've done any kind of streaming, and especially now that I'm starting up with the channel again, I thought it would be a good opportunity for me to get back into the swing of things like this. So, I've obviously have to start by saying thank you to everyone for watching the videos so far. I'm surprised that there's so many of you still hanging around. Uh, it's actually been quite good to see a few of you from, I would say, the old days. I mean, it's only been 4 years. It's hardly the old days per se, but yeah, it's it feels like ages. So yeah, this is a very simple stream. I'm not going to spend too much time online here. Just wanted to do a brief rundown of what I've been doing for the past few days, just to put everything into context. And that's why we have this cold open and the very minimal setup to the stream window. So bear with me. I'll make things a little bit more beautiful for future operations. For now, let's have a bit of a talk about things. My most recent video was just sort of setting everything up. The introduction, the reintroduction video. I just wanted to set everything up again, and how could I explain? Just try and work on the foundation for trying to move the channel into a different direction. Most people, I imagine, would just start with a clean slate and try hop into it. But I feel that in my case, I would be better suited to trying to pivot things more naturally into a new state. That isn't to say that I want to abandon everything entirely. Not all the work that I've done up until now. You can see that they're still on the channel. But I think, as I said in that video, it behooves me to try and move to a more broader kind of spectrum of ideas and discussions. In fact, this started with the most recent video, The War Between Art and Reason. Not my best video, I feel. I could have perhaps been a bit more clear with what the video was trying to communicate. But for the most part, I think it's also a good way to just, as I said, get back into the swing of things. The main idea with this video was to try and introduce the origins of why we consider rationalism and artistic expression to be mutually exclusive, and why these two domains, the hard sciences and the soft sciences, are more or less kind of disregarded of one another. Obviously, this, as I mentioned before, is the topic of my master's degree. So I figured it's playing to my strengths if I discuss this a bit more. And also, it would give me an opportunity to expand based on the art, as well as include more of the rationalistic aspects of basically the videos. Again, viz the reification portion of the videos. Oh dear, I have a person. Let me quickly shut that off. Pardon that. That's what happens when you stream in the middle of the day. So, anyway, including the more rationalistic portions of the videos, like the reifications, and then also allowing me to integrate those rationalistic portions into the more creative portions of the videos. I think that would this provides the start of a decent foundation for that. So, I hope that you enjoyed it, even though, as I said, I think I could have explained things a little bit better. To that end, I hope that I could also make it a bit more succinct, what I was trying to get across in that video, by making the shorts. I think that this is a very handy tool that YouTube has given us, and I think in future videos I can also use it to summarize certain key ideas. it gives everybody an easy way to catch up on things, and also just to review concepts or any ideas that they particularly enjoyed or that they didn't quite get. So I'm going to be using a bit more of this, I think. With that being said, of course, it's not the easiest thing to come up with these shorts, as I'm discovering, mostly because of the limitations, the size limitations. On one hand, you've got to try and keep everything in a vertical kind of alignment, which is okay, I guess. But at the end of the day, you've still got to try and fit all these images in something that I consider to be a very awkward position. And then, of course, there's the time limit, which is 60 seconds. That's not so much of a limitation per se. I think that's obviously the point of advantage here. But hopefully I will be able to make better use of these in the future. I think that ultimately people will enjoy the summaries that I'll put out in the shorts. Also, every now and again I can do a few fun things. So, yeah, look forward to that, I would say. I'll not make the live stream today too long, just because we're trying to get into the whole swing of things again. But on that note, I would like to say thank you to everybody who has been leaving comments. I'm, again, as I mentioned before, I'm quite surprised that there's so many of you still sticking around. I know that people have been dropping comments every now and again, and for what it's worth, I really appreciate it. Especially since it's given me, at the back of my mind, this pressure, I wouldn't say pressure, but this constant reminder that, I still have this project that I'm working on, the YouTube channel, and not to forget about it, despite how busy I might become. Now, of course, I should say that the entirety of, how could I explain, the entirety of the channel is not necessarily a major project. It is more of something that I'm doing on the side, so do expect a little less attention to it than otherwise you might find from certain other YouTubers. Feels strange calling myself a YouTuber, but there you go. I would say that I want to try and do as much as I can, simply because I do find it fun at the end of the day. But it does take a surprisingly large amount of work to push out a video. I think some of your more favorite YouTube creators would probably only release a video like once or twice a month, especially the bigger ones, the ones that I encounter at least through the algorithm. And there is a good reason for that. It's just, it really does take quite a bit of work. I'm not about to hire an editor, as I do know some of them are wont to do, simply because the output versus the input is not worth it. But yeah, so again, thank you so much for all of the chats, and thank you for the constant support and reminders. I was especially pleased to see a few of you are still sticking around, like Great Sayer Kirby, who has changed his name. I actually looked at your channel, sir, and I think I remember those toys, particularly the yellow saber-toothed tiger. If anybody is interested, I recommend you go take a look at that channel. He's I believe restoring old toys. Nothing of major import, similar to my own channel. Nothing, just a hobby channel per se. But it's still quite fun and a little bit nostalgic for those of you who may have been enjoying those toys when you were younger. Moving on. Some of the people in my own personal life, upon watching the first video that I put up, were interested in the Lost Gods the Lost Gods book. This is actually a very decent story. It's I would say it's a very well-written story, and it's very solid. It doesn't go too, how can I say, it doesn't go too overboard with the topic, and the topic at hand, that being a person dying and going to hell, or not going to hell, but going to the afterlife, and then exploring the various afterlives that human cultures have produced. and it does a very good job of presenting the ideas, and it's a very nice, solid, self-contained story, and I recommend it to anybody who wants to get into fantasy reading or just enjoys reading in general. Especially the topics at hand here are religious. So ostensibly, they are kind of sensitive, but these books are the books produced by Brom, the author and artist, are I'm finding to be quite interesting and fun. Apropos of that, actually, I recently read the new novel by Andy Weir, which I thought was rather fitting given my channel's topic, which was the Project Hail Mary. And even though Andy Weir is known for his hard science fiction, he is actually going ahead and exploring some xenobiology, some speculative biology in this novel. This novel is about a team of astronauts who are sent into space to prevent space algae from killing humanity. It's a little bit complicated, and in the novel, the main character meets an alien, and they discuss in part some of the biology of the alien. It's actually very interesting, and I do recommend it to those of you who are interested in the reification sections of my my channel. That being said, of course, it did give me an interesting jumping off point. The Lost Gods in particular, sorry. That being that obviously with having studied quite a bit of philosophy, I find myself in a position to discuss more abstract ideas and more cultural ideas that are foundational to cultural ideas around the world. So I offer here an example, Summa Theologica, which is a text by Thomas Aquinas, and he's justifying the existence of God through Aristotelian and Platonic, more Aristotelian logic. And I think what I will do with my upcoming videos is I will be not necessarily focusing on religion, but I will be using a lot of my studies to working as jumping off points to discuss these fantastical ideas, particularly going back to the monsters, or discussing the other topics that I wish to introduce to the channel. Again, going back to the original point that I was making, which was that the war between art and reason gives us an interesting leaping off point to try and fix that bridge. How reason and art and the soft sciences can once more be merged into one thing. Of course, it may not necessarily succeed. Let's see how it goes. But I did have an interesting idea, which was I was faffing about on the internet and came across the God Emperor of Mankind. Yay. Now, I have a few ideas of how to do this. As you can imagine, I'm going to try and see if I can tackle fantastical religions in the framework of how we have interpreted our own religions. And this one is particularly popular and actually presents a few interesting differences and interesting similarities between our modern, I say modern, our the modern religions. I would say more classical religions, just because most of these religions started about 2,000 years ago. So yeah, our classical religions. And it's I think that would be a fun video to do, because at once this is me expanding off to more fantasy, whilst also finding a way to incorporate the rationalistic parts of what it is that I want to discuss. Now, this isn't going to be the only thing. I mean, far be it from me to say that this is a Warhammer channel, but it's one of the things that I think would be a fun topic to go over. I have a few other ideas for upcoming bestiary videos. I have been encouraged by people personally to do some more bestiary videos, so please do look forward to those. And otherwise, I have one or two philosophically based videos that I would like to go over, and those will be coming in the next couple of weeks, so also look forward to those. As always, if you have any questions or if there's anything that you want to discuss, feel free to message in the video or the chats or wherever you find an opportunity to do so. And thank you for listening. I know a very short stream, but a fun stream nonetheless. It's good to get back into it, despite all the mumbling and stuttering.